From the origin of the symbolic BMF title and creating a fan-favorite UFC event, to Islam Makhachev saying it's a useless handout. Here's why Islam Makhachev slammed the BMF title. New fans of the UFC are confused over what the belt is actually about. After all, it doesn't work like any other title in the promotion. So how did such a strange belt even enter the UFC in the first place? You see, it all started when two of the promotion's superstars were coming off fresh wins. Jorge Masvidal had just scored his legendary flying knee knockout of Ben Askren.
My goodness.
Finishing the fight in a record-breaking 5 seconds at UFC 239. Then about a month later, Nate Diaz landed a comeback win against Anthony Pettis. In the post-fight interview, Diaz said he was so impressed by Masvidal's KO that he challenged him to a fight, saying that there's nobody who does it like the two of them. He also called himself the baddest mother fluffer in the game. I guess that turned on a light bulb above Dana White's head. You see, the UFC knew they could really take this already super hyped fight to a whole other level. So Dana changed the regular fight into a 5-round title match, all for the BMF belt, named after the term Diaz coined. I mean, for an organization that's such a huge stickler for the rules, making a title just for fun was way out of the ordinary. Dana White's been talking about how he hates the new fight game that's centered around gimmick fights. So really, this turned into a win-win for everyone. The two fighters faced each other at UFC 244, and Masvidal came out on top by doctor stoppage, earning himself the symbolic BMF title. After that, though, the belt wasn't seen for a long time. But just when everyone thought it was gone for good, Dana White announced a fight to crown the new BMF. You see, since the strange title doesn't work like the others, Jorge Masvidal was the official holder of it for God knows how long. I mean, no one had a rule book on it, so there wasn't any way to put the title on the line again. But then, Jorge retired from the sport at UFC 287 after losing to Gilbert Burns. Dana did what he does best and hyped up a way to bring the belt back.
Since Jorge Masvidal retired, the BMF title is back up for grabs. The main event will be 5 rounds between the number 2 and number 3 lightweights in the world.
White claimed that since Masvidal left the promotion, the title was up for grabs again, which is honestly just him playing make-believe at this point. The fight he announced for the title, though, was no joke. Two of the lightweight division's top rankers, Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, would push themselves to the limit in the octagon for a belt that they probably forgot all about. Thinking back to the first fight, those were some of the biggest names in the division at the time. Even now, Gaethje and Poirier are at the highest levels of the lightweight division. So apparently, that's logical enough for Dana to put the title up for grabs once again. The current lightweight champ, Islam Makhachev, though, isn't digging the hype around the belt at all. He's made his opinion on the BMF known, that the belt was made for losers. Yep, you heard that right. From an otherwise lighthearted Makhachev, those are some pretty brutal words. He made his controversial statement while talking to Daniel Cormier, who was taken completely by surprise. The champ tried to prove his point. He asked DC who fought for the belt, and after learning that it was Diaz and Masvidal, he went on to say something even more controversial. The Dagestani said that the UFC knew that both of them could never win a belt otherwise, so they found a reason to give them one just because. Yikes. He makes it sound like Dana was out there giving participation awards to everyone. Sure, it's a hot take, but Makhachev might be onto something here. Even though Masvidal had some crazy hype behind him, he's never won a championship match. Heck, he tried twice against Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title and lost both times. Nate mainly got hyped after becoming the first person to take out McGregor in the UFC, but he's never had a belt to his name either. So really, it's hard to debate Islam on this. Makhachev is of the mindset that a good fighter shouldn't have many losses, and with only one defeat in his career, he practices what he preaches. The BMF title then stands for everything he's against. I mean, Jorge didn't win a single match after beating Diaz, losing 3 fights back-to-back before retiring. So really, how can you expect Islam to think Masvidal was the baddest guy in the game for that long? And at first, Justin Gaethje wasn't too fond of the title either. You see, when the highlight was told that he'd be fighting Poirier for 5 rounds, he wasn't really sold on the idea at first, because being a fighter without a title to his name, why would he get in the octagon for 25 minutes when he'd be getting the same pay as a 3-round fight? I mean, why put all that extra effort in until the UFC promised the fighter something to sweeten the deal? Now, Gaethje isn't one to turn down a major check. Still, his initial statement didn't change much, claiming that when the first BMF title match happened, he thought it was stupid, cause it's nothing like a real championship title. If you look at it without the added money, it really does seem weird to fight for it. There's no BMF division, so you can't say you're better than anyone besides that one guy you beat to get it. There's no ranking either, giving no incentive to shoot for the BMF title in particular. But Justin couldn't deny that the title does come with some opportunities. Seeing how hard other fighters have to get in the octagon for way less, he's not gonna turn that down. Kinda echoing Makhachev's words, he said that it's the UFC throwing fighters a bone, and if they start seeing him as a champion after that, he's not gonna pass up the opportunity. But when he and Dustin got on a call together to get interviewed by DC, his opinions seem to have changed.
Being a little bit critical of the BMF title, but as we come along and as I get put in a position to fight for it, you really understand how prestigious this championship is and what it actually means.
Both fighters then talked about how great the title was. The Diamond said that even though the BMF title isn't the same as an undisputed title, it's still an honor to fight for it. Both he and Gaethje have had such incredible careers. With many Fight of the Year contenders under their belt, it's 100% justified that their match should have a title on the line. Justin took back his previous statements, now claiming that the title was actually pretty prestigious. Apparently, sitting in this new position made him realize the belt's full potential. Now, he was saying that it didn't hit him before, but only one guy has previously held the BMF title, making it a rare chance to be one of the few who could actually claim it. Islam, though, definitely can't look at it any other way. I mean, the guy's at the top of his division, so to him, this is all just people below his rank fighting among themselves and patting themselves on the back for being the best out of the worst. And if he doesn't like it already, he's gonna hate Gaethje, saying that it's more special than a championship title. You see, the highlight believes that the BMF title can only be offered to people like him or Dustin because of the outstanding fighter portfolio they've built up over the years. It's a well-deserved special reward for all their effort, according to the guy. Yeah, no, Islam's not buying it, because in his eyes, it's a degrading offer. He just couldn't wrap his head around why fighters like Gaethje and Poirier, who fought multiple times for the belt, would ever look at it fondly. For him, it's the same as publicly claiming that you can't beat the champion, so you'll settle for whatever you can get your hands on. Islam really didn't hold back from trashing the title, saying that even if he got the chance to get the belt, he still wouldn't want it. I guess Makhachev doesn't like having another belt holder in his division. After all, it must be pretty demoralizing working hard to become champion, and they just make another title belt willy-nilly for someone else. So maybe his words really do have some weight to them. And there you have it, fight fans. From Islam Makhachev saying it's a useless handout to keep losing fighters happy, to the origin of the symbolic BMF title and creating a fan-favorite UFC event. This was why Islam Makhachev slammed the BMF title.
Hand off the top of the